Well, good morning, everybody. How's it going? Welcome back to my channel, Book Time with Elvis, with me, Mark. And I'm joined today by Sean D. Standfast from the channel Sean D. Standfast. And it's our Sunday morning breakfast. Have you actually had breakfast, Sean, or is it too early for you?
No, I haven't had anything yet. I took my drugs, but I haven't had breakfast. I
Uh-huh.
don't really have much for breakfast. I got some bread. I'll probably just have it because I do need. I shouldn't have taken my medication before I ate something because I know that's going to cause a bit of an issue in an hour or two.
Oh, dear. Okay. Are you, what do you have on toast generally? Are you a marmalade man or a
Oh
Marmite
God,
man? Or
I don't have anything now. I'll just have a couple slices of bread, just something in my stomach. It's
But
it's like
normally?
normally, if I do have it, it's either uh, just butter or butter and peanut butter, or just peanut butter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
Uh-huh.
don't, I don't, I don't put jam too much on toast for some reason.
Okay.
I don't like marmalade.
Uh-huh. And Marmite?
Paddington would no, God, no. I might as well just take some toe jam. And that would work better.
Oh, I love Marmite.
It's like marmalade. Paddington would not enjoy staying with me. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
I know
Um,
somebody who has Marmite and marmalade.
yeah, I do on occasion. It's nice the
Oh,
saltiness with the sweetness of the orange. Yeah,
I remember working at NHS Direct, and nurses are renowned for having toast and stuff like this. So it was a night shift, and they were saying that I want some. I said, yeah, and they said, well, do you want some Marmite on it? And I go, I've never had Marmite. Sure, yeah, I'll have some. I had to spit it out. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
but some people, I mean, I had a very good friend, and he used to really spread it on, almost like Nutella. Yeah, and I can't do that. I have to say. I mean, I like it. I take a fairly small. I mean, I love it. I love the saltiness of it, but I take a very small amount really and put it on. There's always more butter than Marmite for sure. And yeah, I don't know how some people literally spread it on thickly.
I
It
don't know.
kind of
I don't
takes
know
off
how to
the roof of
understand
your
how
mouth.
people do it. Period. It's like when you mentioned Nutella, and it's like, oh, that's gross as well. It's just
Yeah, we have some weird ones. Do you know those Lotus biscuits? The Biscoff? They're popular with coffee. I don't know exactly what
no,
they're
I
made
don't. I
from.
don't think so.
They're like brown ones, but you can get a spread of those as well here.
Oh yes, I've seen it. Yeah, I've never tried it. Yes, yes, I've seen it.
Yeah,
I
it's a
don't
bit
know.
weird, maybe.
Yeah, it's that stuff. It just doesn't work for me. Like biscuits. I don't really like. I should have something. That's the thing. I should actually have something like that, so I don't have to actually eat much. All I need is something. Like I need a biscuit or a couple crackers. Like the Graham. I guess what is it? No, not is it Graham crackers?
Well, Americans use graham crackers.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
No, no. Okay, what's the ones here that are
digestives.
no actual crackers?
Oh, the cream crackers, the Jacob's
That's
cream
it. Yeah,
crackers.
I
Yeah.
should have some of those because then I could eat a couple of those, and then I know that's it. It sort of lines my stomach for the
Yeah.
drugs.
And there were used to be, I think, something called water biscuits as well, which are
Oh yeah,
crackers.
I don't think I've tried those,
Yeah.
but I don't like if I do buy cookies. Cookies,
Yeah.
I'll have it's chocolate chip, but you can't really get good ones. Um,
The
unless you got
Maryland
a lot of
ones
money.
aren't that bad, to be fair.
Well, you gotta spend a little more money. You can't get sort of cheap ones.
No.
Like back in Canada, I could buy cheap ones, and they were half decent.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then gingerbread or
Ginger snaps.
ginger snaps. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I like ginger snaps, and I used to like the bourbon creams. That's just like a chocolate one with
yeah,
chocolate in the middle.
yeah. That stuff doesn't really, like people go crazy over Oreos as well, and it's like, yeah, they just don't do anything for me. Like
Yeah.
I'll have them, yes, but I'm not going to go out of my way to buy it.
Yeah, if you're offered one with your tea, then you would have
Yeah,
one, wouldn't you? So
yeah.
Well, we've got one viewer, and it's Jenny, so she's
Jenny.
up early.
Hello. Do you have your list ready, Jenny? Because it's still a couple weeks, but it just does a little nudge
What list is this?
for Desert Island.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Biscoff spread. Yeah, where did I just saw that somewhere. I just saw that listed somewhere, and I didn't know what it was until you'd mention it.
Stop mispronouncing biscuits, Sean.
Biscuits?
Yeah, because you're saying cookies, so you're mispronouncing it. She does have a list, but it's really random compared to Hannah's. But I think the random nature is part of the fun, isn't it? Because you want some variety if you're stuck on an island somewhere.
Well, the problem is with probably or it's not a problem, but it could be like if say for instance, Jenny, you picked all fantasy. I will never have read any of them, so that's that sort of. So I got to do some real, something there to make conversation because I.
Well, you've read Dune.
Yeah, but I don't. If she puts that on there, then that's fine. But I was thinking
fantasy, isn't it?
I was thinking of Lord of the Rings and in that ilk.
We've read The Hobbit.
Yes, but then I'm not going to say I dislike it all the way through. Okay. Thank you. That's all I'll say is thank you.
Yeah. It's interesting. Maybe you need to do a video. You need to go back maybe and look at series 1, and actually look at maybe what you have and haven't read. That could be kind of interesting.
Yeah. Well, it's every time there's something either that I haven't read and I want to read because of what they've talked about it, or an author that I want to reread or read more of, and I've only read a little bit. And with Hannah, there was several that were like that. So,
yeah.
And that's always nice, but that's always bad because I've gotten around to some of the ones from the first series, but not all of them.
Yeah.
And I don't even, off the top of my head, I wouldn't be able to say which ones, but.
Well, we've been fluctuating. We went up to 7 viewers. We're now back down to 1, which I'm assuming is just Jenny. Oh. So maybe last week was just.
They saw me, so they put them off their breakfast, baby.
Oh dear, but it doesn't matter. We'll see. It's still nice to do something at a bit of a different time, and maybe those people went out last night after we were talking about beer.
Yeah.
She'll send the list through to you later today. So.
Okay. Well, yeah, we got 2 weeks because we're doing Gavin tonight. So
it's Gavin tonight, is it?
Yeah.
10 o'clock?
9. Well, 10 U. Yes, 10 U.
I could probably watch it actually because, of course, I'm on spring break, so I don't have to get up for school tomorrow. So
yeah. Well, I thought of that. Like 9 o'clock here in the UK might be a little late, but it's not that late.
It's only late when you go on for 2.5 hours.
Yes. I wasn't expecting that, but like even Mark Richards was saying, it didn't seem like it was that long. Like everybody who has said that watched it from beginning to end live, they just didn't think it was that long. I didn't really think it went that long. Hannah didn't either. So
yeah. I mean, I don't know. It might be interesting to at some point revisit some of the people from season 1, see if their lists have changed and stuff, or at least
could be, yeah.
I mean, you could maybe just make a short video with it where you just have them saying that now they would choose this and that instead of this, that, and this. So could be kind of interesting. Because as I said, I mean, I know from my own list, it'd probably be obviously some of the mainstays will be there, of course, but I think there'll be a few that I'd replace now after having it's 2 years ago. So a couple of things.
It could be a nice few lives, like a supplement thing where they come on and go,
Yeah,
and
something like
go,
that.
yeah, that could work.
Yeah, yeah. So
But the interesting thing is, it's like nobody realized it. I bookended the Desert Island books with bookmarks. You were the first,
oh,
and
and Mark
was the
Richardson was the
last.
last one.
Yeah, well, I did a live after that of a few people, but
Uh-huh.
that wasn't a real one. But nobody ever mentioned that, and it was like there was a conscious effort to do that.
Yeah. Although I thought well, maybe after I'd done it, you wanted to end it with another mark.
Oh
But
yeah, yeah,
I
because
thought
yeah,
I
you were.
came in because someone bowed out, didn't I?
Yeah, I can't remember who that
First.
was. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because you were gonna go later, and then so you were available. So I
Yeah.
figured, yeah,
Yeah.
do this. And yeah, no, I didn't have it planned before it started. But once it did start, once it did do that, and we got near the end, and I was gonna have one or two other people, but I couldn't, fix their times to do this. So
Yeah.
I figured, well, then Mark, are you available sooner? Yep. So that was Mark Richardson, and then so we did it.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Did you get any reading done last night, or?
About 10 pages out of this, but it's slow going. I'm not able to concentrate that well at the moment, and I should be able to, but I'm not. This is just, I'm reading it slowly. I'm reading. Well, the idea was to read a chapter a day, so I still have, I think, 10 or 11 pages. Well, actually 15 for yesterday's chapter. And then how big is the next chapter? So I got like 50 pages to read today, which may or may not happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm a day behind or something. I'm not too concerned.
Well, I got hold of the Sasquatch book, the novel that Freeman
Oh,
mentioned
yeah.
yesterday. So
No,
that
like I say, everything he's that he's he suggested or sent me. There's only one that I haven't read yet, is the one I still don't know where it is. The Wagger, the Wager.
oh, the Wage. Oh my God, and it might be the best one.
Yeah, and I don't know where that is. I still don't know. I haven't found that one.
Uh-huh.
So
Uh-huh.
I obviously have it, but I don't know where it is.
All right. Yeah.
Oh, I still have the nuclear war one. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. No, I still have that one. And you said you had that too. I
Yeah.
haven't.
Yeah. I was actually. I almost picked it up the other day when I was doing that apocalypse thing. I thought, oh, I might read that. So.
Yeah, because I can see it right there, on my TBR shelf, and I just haven't got around to that one yet. But everything else, I think that he's. Oh, I'm not sure if he's. There might be an older one that I just never got around to, a vampire one. I'm not sure if that was him that sent it or not. But anyway, everything is all, he's been spot on, even though it's stuff that I normally may never have picked up, or I wouldn't have known about.
Yeah. Yeah. Jenny says she needs to rewatch the older ones and see just how daft her picks are. And yes, Jenny, the Wager is the shipwreck.
Yeah. Yeah, I just purposely say Wagger, and then that confuses people, and then they'll turn around and say, "Well, no, you're mispronouncing it." It's like,
yeah, it's good though. The Wager, I really enjoyed it actually.
I
Especially as
really
it's
like
got
the Captain Cook one.
Hampton Sides is one. Hampton
Oh yeah,
Sides, isn't it? The author, yeah.
yes, yeah.
Yeah. No, I need to read that. But no, I like the Wager because I like the fact that it's got Byron's grandpappy in it, granddad.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. Didn't know that.
Yeah, he's one of the young. I think he's one of the young midshipmen. But yeah, he goes on, of course, to have an illustrious career in the Royal Navy. But yeah, he's the grandfather of Lord Byron. So,
well, he obviously survived.
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah. Oh, some of them did. So
yeah, but I mean, Byron may not have been Byron.
no, that could have changed. What a surprise! Jenny has it, but hasn't read it. Oh. Like 90% of all new releases or books, eh, Jenny? Oh dear. Yeah. So, all right. Well, let's have a bit of a chit chat about the TLS. I mean, we both subscribe to it.
Yeah,
Um,
'cause, and it was only a fluke that I was talking to my friend in uh, out in Thailand, and so he gave me half. So I figured, oh, why the hell not? And it's for 3 months, and whether I'll continue it or not. But the thing is, it was like I'm sitting there going, okay, $8.99 a month is what Prime is.
yeah.
I no longer subscribe to Prime, but I have in the past and paid $8.99 a month,
Yeah.
and I never really thought I got anything out of it. I'd get more out of this.
Yeah. Well, and plus that's $9.99 for 3 months, right?
No, it was $19.99 for 3 months. So I put I put £9.99 into it.
Right.
So it was 3 months. I think well, wait a minute. How much?
I don't know, but they charge me per quarter.
Yeah, but this is print, so it's more.
Right.
It's more than the digital.
Yeah.
But no, it is a month. They usually did charge quarter, but this is now charged monthly.
All right.
I guess it must be new because they never did a monthly fee before. It was always quarter. It was always quarterly.
Well, I currently pay £10 a quarter.
Yeah. See, so it's a lot cheaper that way. But I would never read it as a digital.
Well, I mean, that's what they did because I think I was paying something like 20 or £25 a quarter, right? And I called up around Christmas time, going to cancel it. And she's like, well, we can give you a deal where you get the next 2 quarters for £10 per quarter. And I was like, well, yeah, all right then. So, but I was going to cancel it purely for the thing that unfortunately, the fact that it is every week is for me, it's downfall. I just don't have the time to read it every week. So hopefully doing something like this then will actually spur me into being able to read it each week, right? So
Yeah, and when I first got it, however many years ago, a decade or so ago, I was diligent and I was reading it from cover to cover or from back cover to front cover. Don't ask. But and then I didn't, and then I just kept piling up, and it's like, oh, I still got some of that stuff to read, and it'd be like a month later, and I still haven't got back to the stuff. Then I cancel it, and then I thought, why do I need to read it from cover to cover? Like I'm getting enough out of it by reading like 4
yeah,
articles or
yeah,
something like that. That's all I need to do. Um,
yeah, yeah. No, I mean that's the thing. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't hold much interest for me in it, but there
yeah,
are some, really good things in it as well, right? So that's it. But I mean, Jenny says maybe they did it to make it easier to cancel, but I have to say they don't make it that easy to cancel. I tried to cancel via email, and then they said I had to call them. Of course, for me, it's an international call, and then by the time they answer, and then she talked me into having it for an extra 2 quarters. So it's kind of maybe, not that easy to cancel it. I think I made the mistake, but then of course they discontinued it of not subscribing through Amazon because Amazon you can just cancel it immediately, yeah, because it came
well,
came to the app. But
it might be a little difficult for me too because I didn't have to set up a direct. If there was always direct debit before, I just canceled the direct debit. That's how I canceled it.
yeah,
It
yeah,
was just end the direct debit. But now it's not. I didn't even think of that. It might be difficult now because it's not direct debit. It's going to be on my card, on my
yeah,
debit card.
yeah,
So that could be a little difficult to cancel.
yeah. So the
So that's maybe
recurring
why they went
charges.
monthly.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I like their full page spread of books. Like if you look down at the bottom here, it's got the Orient Explorer collection. No idea what this is. It's from University of Hong Kong Press, Catherine A. Carl et al. And it's like a box set. It looks like paperbacks, but it looks kind of interesting.
Now you see, I don't get that on the digital.
You don't get the advertising? No?
No, there's a little bit of advertising, but not in that way. So at
Yeah,
least
it's
not that
like
I've seen.
it's a whole spread.
No, well, that's a shame because I'd like to look at those. So
Yeah, that's always a highlight for me going through. It's not always a full page like this, but
yeah,
it's there's always a good section of whatever publisher, university publisher that will have a bunch of forthcoming books.
yeah. Oh, that's not right, is it? Hang on. Seem to have blocked Sean out. No.
That's weird.
Maybe. Oh, there we go. That can do. We can talk over it. Yeah. So, I mean, were there any highlights for you from what you did read?
Well, the one that I missed it for some reason. I got to
Mhm.
go through it. That Win in Rome. I think that might be the best one
Yeah,
for me.
it was interesting. Which would have been last one here. This when in Rome.
Yeah,
I don't want to show off too much because I might get in trouble. But yeah, it's basically a collection of essays where they look at what travelers on the Grand Tour thought was interesting that they noted down when they went traveling in France and Italy. I think they say about the book that all the essays are related to British travelers, apart from one, which is some kind of Polish count or aristocrat. But what I find interesting about reading that was some of the characters mentioned. I think we touched on it briefly. This Maria Graham, who was a Scottish woman who spent time living in India, Africa. She also spent time living in Chile and Brazil, and she wrote travel books or accounts of her different voyages and trips, be it in South America or India, or of course her book she published about I think was it 3 months or 3 years, 3 months, I think, living
yeah.
in the mountains to the east of Rome or something like that. So that seemed very interesting. And then one of the essays also relates to the writings of a butler or a valet of one of the aristocrats, which apparently was quite unusual at the time that a servant would publish their own account of a journey. But it sounded very fascinating to me. It's something I'd definitely like to read. I think there were only one or two books really that I saw reviewed that I would actually be interested in buying. But of course, this one for you has a negative, doesn't it, Sean?
Well, it's a little bit because it's pen and sword, and I don't have no axe to grind with them other than they're very short books. They're very
Yeah,
short books, and I sometimes find that it's not enough. Like they're just over 200 pages, generally speaking,
yeah,
of text, and then there's index and good bibliography, like good all that stuff, but I just find it never enough, and for the price.
yeah. I mean, I'm assuming it's hardback though. This one,
Yeah,
I mean, it's 256 pages, £25,
yeah.
which I
See,
suppose.
I've got a book that actually I think covers part of this kind of stuff, and it is called Win in Rome. Um,
Yeah,
Somewhere. When I say I have it, I do somewhere.
yeah. No, I mean, it does seem jolly interesting. I think again, this Mary Graham discusses like the silk industry and, in Italy, which sounds very interesting about how the peasant women used to keep the silkworms to their breasts to keep them warm. So
Well, I was reading, talking about silkworms because I've been reading this history of South Africa, and it took them a long time. They were trying to have silkworms there, and there's like one year they'd have a really good harvest, I guess you would call it, and then next half of them would be dead.
yeah.
It took them a long time to get it working. I assume they did eventually and continued, or maybe not. Maybe it was just too much effort.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean I think they said Italy was the world's biggest producer of silk after China. So,
Yeah,
which I again had no idea about. But you always say you start the reading with NB.
yeah. I always start at the back page.
Was that interesting?
Yeah, well, the first part of it, because it's talking about John le Carre's, well, actually David Cornwell, library that's gone up for sale at is it Mags?
Yeah.
And I'm not sure. Well, I always think that this was replaced. The MC is I don't know if it's a she, but anyway, the person writing just goes in and talks a little bit about the books there. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
And
I'm kind of surprised though that I maybe it's not his entire library. I suppose is it?
Probably eventually they probably bought it all. I would think
Because his son's an author, and you would think that he would probably keep it.
Well, yeah, maybe maybe sold stuff because it seems to be it's called Spook Shelves, so mostly talking about had a copy of The Ghost by Robert Harris inscribed,
Yeah.
And then copy of Traveling People. I guess that's B.S. Johnson.
Yeah.
And just it mentions some other stuff here, just some highlights. So I don't know. Doesn't say. It says both. Doesn't say how many volumes was in the line. It says both of these titles were to be found at one time in the author's considerable library at Tregafallen Cottage in Cornwall.
I don't know if they had a picture of it.
No, it's just they have just those other things there. Yeah, it doesn't say. It just says extensive library, so I don't know. And they've just highlighted a few things from the catalog. Is it Mags? Why do I think it's Mags?
I don't know.
But I don't see it. I'm just sort of scanning through, and I don't see it here.
And did you just read the bit on John le Carre's library, or did you read anything about the Middlemarch readers?
The second part, or
yeah, because it says Spook Shelves, John le Carre's library, A4 Art, and Middlemarch's readers, and I didn't read that, so I don't know if it's worth reading because I haven't read Middlemarch. But
that's again one I did read that, but I sort of have forgotten about it. It doesn't really say anything about Middlemarch itself, but again, it's just I think I read that on Friday when I got it, so I don't actually remember so much.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you ever read his letters?
Whose letters? Sorry,
Le Carre's.
No, I haven't read any of his letters. No.
Oh, I've got his letters here.
He's probably going to be one of the last authors that do have letters.
Well, that's it, isn't it? I mean, I was joking the other live, I think, about, is anyone going to really read the complete emails of Sally Rooney in, 50 years, 100 years from now,
Yeah.
That's what it's going to be like, I suppose, isn't it? I did read this one. I don't know if you read that, Vices of the Worlds. Thought that was interesting.
No, I haven't read that one yet.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's a work in translation. It's called Vignettes from the Wars of Religion, and apparently Aguafuertes means etchings. It did seem very interesting to me. It is literally a collection of vignettes, characterizations of characters and people who took part in the Wars of Religion in the 16th century, and it says it's quite amusing. There's some. I was thinking of you because it's quite ribald. I quite like the sound of that. These kind of character portraits of people. I don't know. I don't think they're. I don't know if they were real or not. I can't remember. No, they're fictional narratives, but it sounded kind of fun. Something I'd like to get hold of. I think.
I don't. Where is that one? Where is that one? I don't.
The title is Vices of the World in brief. In brief review. Probably it's near the
Oh,
near
in
the end.
brief. Okay, yeah. I scanned through that one and nothing sort of jumped out, and I just I passed it by. But that I'll definitely go back to that.
Yeah, sounds fun. But again, 160 pages for £16 as a paperback. You think it's pretty pricey, but it is specialist though. I can see, like, I'm guessing well, I don't even know. I mean, this cover looks like it's not even translated into English, so I'm not sure. I mean, I'm guessing it is. I mean, I didn't see that it wasn't, but yeah. So it says, yeah, Etchings is a surprising literary adventure, a collection of short fictional narratives inspired by the delicate technique of engraving, which became popular from the 16th century onwards. The texts are not stories as such, but a series of 46 numbered vignettes featuring fictional characters from different European nationalities and backgrounds.
Yeah, interesting. But yeah, is it £16 interesting?
That's it, isn't it?
Yeah.
£16 for a paperback, 160 pages. That's pretty thin.
Yeah.
You know. So I don't know. And of course, the crazy thing is, if it's released as an ebook as well, there won't be much difference in that price.
Yeah. Yeah, the prices for ebooks are ridiculous at half the time.
Yeah, I can never understand why anyone. I mean, I think it's criminal to pay more than $2.99 for an ebook. To be honest with you, but yeah.
Another one I read was the At Home with the Forsytes. I thought that.
Oh yeah, that was a good one. Where's that one? At Home with the Forsytes. There we go. Yeah, that sounded very interesting.
But pricey too. It's like it's bigger, 416 pages, but it's £50.
£50, but it's going to be a nice hardback. Remember, there's a lot. I mean, it's so many photographs in it.
Yeah, and what I like was, like, it's saying here, it says but almost only photograph of a person. The film star Fay Ray relaxing in her newly built flat in Grosvenor Square in 1935, and I go, I got to see that picture. And it's like, and does she have a miniature Kong sitting in the corner?
Yeah. I mean, I look at these pictures though, and all I think about is the dusting.
Well, that's what he talks about. That you don't see the dust in the photographs.
Yeah.
And with somebody, or maybe it was somebody that went in and mentioned dust, or is it because they got better reproduction of the photos? You can actually see dust now in the photographs.
Yeah. I remember seeing, and I think it was probably about 10 years ago, this apartment in Paris, which had been completely lost in time.
Yeah.
I don't know if it went back as 19th century or, basically no one had lived in that particular apartment since the 18th or 19th century or something. And all the furniture, everything was still there, but it was obviously under layers and layers of dust. So, yeah. It's interesting. I mean, when you look at the photo, you see like samurai swords. I'm just trying to work out. I'm guessing in the background there, the very back, that's probably a mirror.
Yeah, it does look like a mirror. That's what I thought, because there's a sort of three-legged table, and it's the ones that are cut in half.
Yeah,
like it's not a round table, and it would sit against something. So I'm assuming that's the mirror. Yeah.
But all the Asian art in it, it's just fascinating. I mean, that clock looks amazing with the inlay, the lacquer work on it. You've got the samurai swords there. You've got Japanese women in kimono on that painting on the wall. You have someone looks like Guan Yu, the Chinese god of war, there with his halberd. Yeah, it's fascinating.
Well, it's interesting too. They got a screen in front of a door there, that leads somewhere.
Yeah. Probably off to the boudoir.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that. I mean, that's a coffee table book, though, isn't it? As they say.
Yeah, yeah,
But 50 quid still, you know.
yeah. But it is something that it's something that I would like to have, or at least the peruse, Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, there's one I don't remember that I read was the one on the garden, the unusual English garden. And I just don't remember what that was about.
A love
So
something.
what?
A love
Yeah,
something. The mysterious world of an unusual English garden. Yeah.
yeah. I don't remember what that was about.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't get around to that one.
There was a one on Dora Carrington, which was interesting. The Bloomsbury painter.
Yeah, I shall never fit in any school.
Yeah, and there's something that's weird and I had to go look. The person who wrote that was saying that I'm just trying to find it here, see if I can find the spot. Where is it? Because she's talking about every picture of Dora Carrington. She never shows her face on and all this kind of stuff. And I'm going, really? So I did a search for photographs, and I can only see a few that she turns her face sideways, and all the other ones she's face on. So I don't know what this is about. But I thought, because I always thought she was an interesting character, and I think it was from a movie that I saw that was maybe called just Carrington. I think there was a film, and I've always been sort of not fascinated by her, but when I saw that, oh yeah, I definitely want to read that one.
Well, we have a couple of comments. Let's go through. So Christina's here. Hi, if you're still here. Happy to be here, but not sure how long. I attended the Women's March, and I'm wiped. I don't know what that is. Yeah. Which sounds very male, doesn't it? Yeah, I attended the Women's March, and then men go, I don't know what that is. So is that? I'm guessing because obviously it was International Women's Day yesterday, so I'm guessing it was some kind of march in America, probably. Yeah. Jenny asks how it went. Christina says it was wonderful. It filled my cup to be surrounded by others who are angry, frustrated, sad, scared, etc. by what's going on in this country. Yeah, it must be America.
Yeah.
So Jenny says nothing stronger than bonds between the disenfranchised. Hopefully the world will start to make sense again one day. And Christine says, so true. I feel very hopeful based on what I saw and felt today. Now there was, going back to the TLS, again, an article I haven't got around to, but there is one on suffragettes, I think, isn't there? Yeah, piecemeal progress. This is it here, honoring the women who ushered in female emancipation. So,
okay, that could be one. I was looking at another one, Continental Rifts, Canada and Mexico in the history of American Civil Wars. That could be kind of interesting too. But yeah, that's so there's quite a bit, in this thing of interest to read.
Yeah. I mean, there was one of particular interest to me, which may not be to other people. I don't know, but because I did my master's in Edinburgh, and I studied basically, nations and nationalism, and so there was a whole piece on this new book.
That's a bad Photoshop job there, man.
No, it's not. It's he's wearing a mask, I think.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a bad Photoshop.
Well, maybe it is. I don't know. I thought he's supposed to be wearing some kind of mask over his hood. So
okay, that makes sense. But yeah, I wasn't sure.
Yeah, it's funny because in a certain light, this other person looks a bit like Farage. So, but what we got here? 512 pages. Princeton University Press, £35. Unfortunately, it's not a very favourable review, but it did bring back a lot of nostalgia to me because I wrote my thesis on nationalism as both a destructive and constructive factor in football as a constructive and destructive factor, and the nationalism that comes with it. And I looked at how it kind of unifies different strata of society in Brazil. and then of course how it kind of helped with the breakup of Yugoslavia. You know, because one of the sparks that kicked it all off was a football match between, I think, Dinamo Zagreb and Red Star Belgrade, and I had to do a lot of reading, of course, around it, and a lot of the books that the reviewer cites were books I read, of course. So it brought back happy memories. Things like Michael Billig's Banal Nationalism, Nations and Nationalism by, I think, is it Hobsbawm maybe? And then also Inventing Traditions, which is a very interesting book as well. You know, when new countries had to invent traditions, like Germany, for example. Yeah, so it was good. But as I say, the book itself doesn't appeal after reading Mr. Kumar's review of it. Didn't seem
Yeah,
to
there
be
was
very
like I was
complimentary.
just mentioning nationalism. I can't remember there's a Welsh author that and I like him, and I haven't read enough of them. But anyway, he said something to the effect that he would love to stomp on the throat of nationalism and just destroy it, kill it. He just thought nationalism was the worst thing in the world.
No, I mean, my own theory about it is that Billig's book on banal nationalism is a very interesting one, because it's all about the everyday nationalisms that kind of subconsciously reinforce your national identity, i.e., the Union flag flying at the council offices. Nobody looks at it, nobody pays attention, but if it wasn't there, you would start to think something was wrong, right? You know,
Yeah.
when you
Oh
look
no,
at it.
I'm not saying I agree with the guy, but I
But
just
I
thought it
think,
was.
I mean, for me, the problem with nationalism is that in small doses, it's I think quite healthy, a little bit, to be honest. I don't see there's anything wrong with people liking their own country, but the problem comes when people make it something to be feared or to be suppressed. And of course, like when you try to suppress anything, you push people into extremes, don't you? I mean, we talked briefly about prohibition. Of course, you ban drinking, you give rise to the criminal underworld and smuggling drinks. And I think when you come down on nationalism too hard, you're going to just push people
Yeah.
away. And I think this is part of the problem with, you know, successive governments at the moment, you know, within the UK, is that they've always seen it as a bad thing, and the more you made it bad, you push people into the arms of, you know, the Farages and, you know, other people of reform. So I don't think it's a bad thing when it's managed, but when we try to make it something bad, I mean, it doesn't mean they just all too often link it with extremism and racism, and it doesn't have to be that way at all. I mean, you know, we can all be proud to be British, whatever the color of our skin and all that kind of stuff. You know, it doesn't have to
You
be.
just need to be like a Canadian.
Well, you know, but look how proud you guys are getting at the moment, because you're defining yourselves against your southern neighbors, right?
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, I don't know. I think in small doses it can be a healthy thing for a country. You know, when they lack nationalism or any kind of unifying forces, it can lead to crises. And the crises, of course, are things like, you know, it's no surprise that the two countries most responsible for the Second World War in Europe were both countries that were artificially, you know, thrown together in a unification process.
Yeah.
You know, both Italy and Germany didn't exist as a single entity prior to, you know, what, 1860 was it for Italy, and 1871 for Germany. So yeah, I don't know. But, you know, interestingly though, this country, the Czech Republic, of course, is a country that didn't really exist before. Yeah, there was no Czechoslovakia prior to 1918. It had existed as, like, you know, Grand Duchy and things like that, but, you know, it's Grand Duchy of Bohemia and Kingdom of Bohemia maybe later on.
Well, that's always the problem with stuff like that, because you put these artificial borders on, and it's like, you know, it's like, well, wait a minute, that's part of my farm there. That's like another country now, or
Yeah.
my cousin now lives in a different country.
Yeah. Well, of course, that's what happened here with the Sudetenland, isn't it? With the Germans that ended up being, you know, cut off in a Czech sea, as it were. But there hasn't had. I mean, maybe communism did something for that, but, you know, it didn't have this kind of crisis of nationalism that Germany and Italy saw. other parts of the Austro-Hungarian and Hungarian Empire did, in obviously Yugoslavia. Now Czechoslovakia did break up, but it broke up peacefully. So anyhow, I'm not here to lecture. Well, we got Christina says, wow, Mark, I didn't know that that's what you study for your master's. Very interesting. Yeah, it was really interesting, I have to say, Christina. Thoroughly enjoyed it. It's at the International Relations School of Political and Social Sciences at Edinburgh University. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
I take that in small doses. I would never take a degree in something like that. I'd probably, I couldn't sustain it. The interest isn't there.
It's only a year to do a master's in the UK, and I don't know. I found it really fascinating, all the international relations stuff, because we didn't just obviously concentrate on nations and nationalism. I mean, it's a big part of it, but we did post-colonial history of Africa. We did the Arab-Israeli relationships from the end of the Ottoman Empire through to the latest intifada that took place at the time we were studying it. We did post-Soviet politics and history as well. It was I found it fascinating.
Well, I like when I sort of say that, but then I was thinking, like, if it was late 80s, early 90s that I went into something like that, I could have conceivably, if I had the chance to do something on African, that kind of stuff, but within Africa, colonial to post-colonial stuff, and I would have probably enjoyed doing that, at the time,
Yeah, I mean, we did the African segment of the study was really interesting, I have to say. I mean, I can't remember the professor's name, I don't think she was a professor, because I think the term's used much more willy-nilly in North America, isn't it? Professor. It's any kind of university lecturer is referred to as a professor, I think. But so the lecturer was really interesting, and she obviously knew her stuff. And a good friend of mine, she actually went on herself to become an academic in the African department at Edinburgh University before she then moved on to becoming a children's writer. So
okay,
yeah, she got her PhD and everything, and now she writes children's books. So. Yeah, but no, it was fascinating. So that was good. It was good for me to read that article, but as I say, the reviewer didn't seem very enthused by it, so I'm not going to be running out to read that. And plus, my interest in it waned quite a lot, and that's why I'm not a political scientist anymore, or not that I ever really was in terms of a career, but certainly was in the academic sphere, because I wanted to do my PhD too, but I decided to stay in Japan for more than the year that I was going to take off, and then never went back. So yeah, I think that was really it. I did read the article on Not Yet Men, No Longer Boys here at the top, coming of age in rural Malaysia. Again, having been to Malaysia pretty much around the time that the person's writing, it was kind of interesting to me. But I do like the author, though. But I cannot for the life of me remember the name of his books. I think it's like In the Garden of Mists or something.
The author of the article, or the
no, the author of the book being reviewed. The book's called The South, and Tash Orr has written some nice novels set in either British Malaya or the Japanese occupied Malaya and stuff. And yeah, I've read two of them, and as I say, unfortunately, I can't remember the names of the books. But I've got the computer in front of me, so what did they read? What did they write, rather? Well, maybe I'm confusing the person, actually. It's very possible. Bibliography. Yeah, I think I am confusing the person. It's not Tash Orr I'm thinking of. Who's the person? Who's the person I'm thinking of?
Yeah. while you look for that, I
Yeah.
would just say that I always make the mistake to try to read the poetry that's in here, the poem that's in here. I always make the mistake of doing that, and
Yeah.
I never usually get
Tan
finished.
Tuan Eng. It's the wrong one. Sorry, my apologies. Tan Tuan Eng in the Garden of Evening Mists. So yeah, I got that completely wrong. So I don't know this author, but I still find it interesting. So yeah, you were saying you make the mistake of reading the poetry. Why?
Or try to, and I should just leave it alone.
Well,
But
why didn't you submit some of your poetry to the TLS?
I have, or I tried.
Well, try again.
Yeah, well, I don't have the credentials for them. That's for sure. There's a really, like you say, you don't get too many ads at the bottom of the poetry. There's something that's really cool. That's coming. It's new from Gatehouse Editions. I don't know what that is. Charles Abbott, first Baron of Colchester, his journal of travels to Paris, Switzerland, and Italy, 1819 to 1821, and it's 490 pages, but 50 pounds as well. You don't get that, do you?
Well, no, I might do, but the problem is it would appear within the article. So I probably just ignored it. But it's like the going back to the Foresights article, though, because the reviewer, a guy called Michael Hall, he's publishing a book next year called Queer History of the National Trust. Now, I don't know if it is what I'm thinking about, because I don't know if does queer still mean odd or not anymore?
I don't think when it's used now, because everybody seems to see it in the past and think it's got to do with LGBTQ. It's like and so many times that I've heard people like these are like usually celebrities or other people, because people do this kind of thing for a Wizard of Oz. Oh, L. Frank Baum was very into LGBTQ, because he everybody's queer in there. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, because at first, my first thought was it just shows you that this is the problem when you read books a little bit out of the modern era. Because the first thing I read it's like Michael Hall's Queer History of the National Trust will be published next year. I'm thinking that'll be interesting. Yes, I bet there's a really strange history of the National Trust, and he's going.
I do exactly the same thing.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh dear, yeah. No, I mean it's interesting. I think it's worth a subscription. I mean, it's certainly worth a subscription if you get it as a gift. But the thing is, you just can't be guaranteed that that the articles will always speak to you. But I think you'll always find one or two that make it worthwhile checking out.
I found on eBay somebody selling like 2 years, I think it's 1950 and 51 of the TLS bound, from the 50s. And I thought that'd be kind of cool to look through. And it's not that expensive. It was like, maybe, was it 29 pounds or 39 pounds for each bound volume. But I thought, well, if it was 20s, I'd definitely be interested in 30s. 50s, not too sure, but definitely if it was earlier.
And what's your? Because I imagine you've probably subscribed to both in your time. Is the TLS better than the LRB?
Oh yeah, I found I did get those, and I found that if I was lucky, I'd get one thing out of the LRB that I would want to read. There's always at least one or two in TLS, and there's usually a lot more. Like I would say in this one, there's probably a third that I'll read a third of this that I definitely want to, because there's a few others that I haven't read that I wanted. There's something about this year, A Larger Life, how poetry can tell higher truths. I want to read that one. I haven't read that one yet. And maybe, yeah, that not yet men, no longer boys. That could be interesting. I'm surprised you didn't read of dogs and dogmas. I don't know what it's about, but I just thought dogs was in the title, so I thought you'd
I
read it.
know, but I'm always nervous. I don't want it to be. So, I was hoping you would have read it and you could have told me it was suitable.
Yeah, I didn't get around to it. I might start it and see.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's always something. Oh, this one, Continental Riffs. Definitely, I'll read that one because it's a book by Alan Taylor. Yeah, see that gets nice size, 560 pages. Norton is 34 pounds or 40 US.
Mm.
Let me see what else here. Well, that could be interesting. It's short enough. It is not just groupthink, a complex portrait of Nazism.
Mm.
Oh yes, this one here definitely is a fresh classical sunlight, revisiting W.H. Auden's post-war poetry collection,
Mm-hmm.
The Shield of Achilles. Definitely.
Did you read any of the Oliver Sacks parts? Because obviously they've been the main article.
No, I didn't, and I see. I like if I got enough time, I will. Like I say, I always, for some reason, I start at the back, and then I go forward, and then I read everything, and then I put it down when I've got to the front, and then if I do have time later before the next one comes, or at any point, I'll go back through, usually from the front, and then see if there's anything else that I might, and I might start a lot of them, but I won't finish them.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you can just tell something's not going to be interesting. I know there's one in there on dance, isn't there? Which is
Yeah. Brownie in motion. Yeah, it's like that's next to the Dora Carrington one. It's like that makes sense to put it there, but I read the Dora Carrington and I go, nope.
Yeah. It'd be funny because it might be the best thing in the whole piece, so we just kind of over.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it is surprising, really. I mean, how sometimes mundane subjects can turn into very interesting books, though.
Yeah, but it's just not something. But that's why, like I did, like I read every one, and like when I first got it, because I'd be reading some stuff on economic history. It's not a book that I would ever pick up, but it's like the person was so good that would take you through a history. Like I'd learned something from that article. It's not just about the book; it's about the period that the book is set in. And that's what I like about it, because I could learn something else. And it may not want to buy the book, but I'll learn something. And then I'm sure I'd learn something about dance, but I just don't have to
try it out, can't you? At home.
I probably won't. It's just because of the time.
No, I meant dance. You could try out some moves. Because we all really know that, when nobody's looking, Sean, you're doing the whole risky business through the house every day, aren't you? Sliding around, and
it's like you've heard of bust a groove. It'd be bust a hip with me.
Bust a hip, yeah. Could be your rap name, couldn't it? Not Busta Rhymes, but Busta Hip Hop. Yeah. So it's go on.
No, I was gonna say there's other things that I've got with these before. There's a magazine called Book Review, I think it is, and it's a glossy magazine that's monthly that I always found was nice, and I got that for a couple of years. I'd like to get the New York Times, or wait a minute, the New York Book Review, and then maybe the New York Times review of books. However that is, whichever, because the two different things, one's
I came across both websites. You have the NYRB Books Classics, which is a really nice kind of modern website, and then the New York Review of Books. I thought it was fake. It's a really dated, antiquated website, but actually it is the real one. So I was like, oh, all right. So yeah.
And there's a bunch of others. Like I for a while, there was student ones that were put out by Cambridge University and Oxford, and those were fun.
Yeah, I think could be good people to go to for reviews. Actually, students. I can't be encouraged to buy more books, so I'll stay away from the TLS for now. Well, yes, and plus it would hurt the wallet for sure. I have a TBR so long it will outlive me. If zombies come, I've got plenty to read. And yes, let's see Sean dance. Well,
I
Come on,
could do
Sean.
Charles Chaplin, the buns, the dance with the
Ah,
forks and the and the buns that he
I thought
does.
you were going to say you could only do the Charleston.
Nobody knows what I'm talking about then.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're doing. He does it to the kid, doesn't he? Is that what he's showing the kid? Is it that one, or is he just
No,
doing it?
it's from Gold Rush.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Yeah, he
yeah,
sticks the fork in the two buns.
yeah, and he just does the little leg movements. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No. I know, not completely. Not
Usually, when
completely
I say anything
Philistine.
about silent films, it's like people's eyes glass over and they have no idea what I'm talking about.
Yeah, well, yeah. No, I mean it was interesting. I think I might have to go back and have a look at some of the other articles in the issues that I've missed. Yeah, the last few weeks. So Christina says she's embarrassed to admit hasn't seen any Charlie Chaplin films. So, well, if you have TCM, Christina, at home, you can certainly capture a few of the more famous ones there. So,
Yeah, usually now at, I guess, like 3 a.m. because
well,
like
you can no, I mean,
they
you have them on demand if you have HBO
oh,
Max.
okay.
Yeah, because they've got quite a lot, actually, quite a few silent films on there. I was surprised.
Okay.
I was looking
Yeah,
through the
because
list the
it
other
just
day.
like when I first came to the UK here and I started working and had a permanent job, and there was I did get TV for a little while because I had, I think, Sky, I think it was, for a little while, and part of the package was TCM, and I was so excited, and I thought, oh geez, I'm really gonna be screwed because I'll be in front of the TV all the time because I'm used to the way it was in North America. Here, commercials, and they play just newer movies most of the time, and occasionally an old movie, and it's like, oh, what a piece of crap. It just, so it was like and that was the reason why I got rid of TV, and I haven't had it since. I only had it for like a few months, and
You
I
can watch most of these on YouTube now, eh? So,
yeah, but you don't get, yeah. It's like I still like I like Blu-rays and DVDs because you get booklets, you get uh, commentaries with it. And if I buy
yeah.
a DVD that doesn't have a booklet and a commentary, I feel like I'm being ripped off.
Yeah. So what's the plan for the rest of the day, Sean? You've got a big live
Uh,
coming up later tonight, but
yeah, probably I'll be snoozing for most of the day. Like I'll be napping for most of the time, but I do need to get this done and start uh, Martian Chronicles, which I should have be finished today, and I should have started yesterday, and I didn't.
uh-huh, uh-huh.
And then I've got a specialist appointment to have a cardiogram tomorrow, so I've got to get ready to that for that.
Are you leaving the house for that? Yeah.
Yeah, I have to. Yeah, I get transportation to come pick me up, so it's
Uh-huh.
an all day affair. The appointment's at 11, so I have to be ready from 9 a.m. And then I'll probably won't be back till about 3 or 4. I could be 3 or 4 in the afternoon. So
Blimey.
because it's just like, if they pick me up at 9, I'll get there probably at 9:30. So I got to wait an hour and a half for the appointment. And then once the appointment's done, they call for transport, and I could wait 2.5 hours.
Blimey.
So
So
a
you're taking a
long,
book to read.
yes, it's because the Heinlein this week, I haven't started yet, and it'll fit in my pocket nicely. It's a pocket book, so it fits in
Uh-huh.
my shirt pocket nicely.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. So it's quite small.
Well, it's a pocketbook,
No, but I mean
a
it's
math
quite
marking
short.
pocket.
It's quite short then.
Oh yeah. It is. It's like
But
not
be
even.
careful, you might finish it and still have a few hours of waiting to go.
I could. So, well, no, I don't think I will. I don't think I will because I usually find that I'm just so tired. So I'll probably be dozing off, waiting there. I'll probably.
Yeah. Still, you must be excited a bit to see stuff as you go past because you don't get out very much. So
Yeah, well, it is because it's the only time that I get to see the countryside around here,
yeah, yeah,
and a brief look of it. From the it's usually like a van, like an ambulance van, with
yeah,
seats in it. So yeah, I get to see little things, and I'm so surprised as they're leaving here or coming in how close the coast is. It's like it's less than a mile away,
yeah, yeah,
but I'm in a bit of a hole, so I can't see it. But once I'm out of that and on the road, it's like it's just there. You can touch it almost.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's a shame you can't walk over there. But
Yeah.
can you feel it when you're in the yard? Can you feel the air, the sea air, or
No, I haven't noticed it. No, I think it's just there's too much. There's I don't know how many houses there are here in this. Like they call it a village, but it's a village, but it's big. There's about 1,200 people here, I
yeah,
guess,
yeah,
in this little place. So
yeah. A bit different to my village with 130 people.
yeah. Well, that's why I was talking to Brandy and others, like it's talking about, oh, it's a small town and it's like 30 or 40,000 people. I'm going, that's not a small town. That's a city to me, and it's like they consider that a small town, and it's like to me that's a lot. To me, a small town is something like your size that you could potentially know either everybody by name and know them to
Well,
say
I
hello.
think where I lived before was a town of 9,000, and
That's a
that's
lot of
small.
people.
It's not actually that much, especially like depending on the job I did, where I taught in 3 schools. Each school had around 300 students, and then you think that's almost 1,000 kids, and there's those 1,000 kids plus their 2 parents, right? So that's like 3,000. So I easily knew by association a third of the entire city town, you know.
Yeah, but
And
it's
then,
still
not to
a
mention other
lot.
people I met around. I mean, I could not set foot outside of my apartment on any day without having to greet minimally 10 people.
Well, you must be more here because it must be every person.
Well, I mean, the thing here is that I lucky if I set foot outside the door and actually meet a person. So, if we happen to be outside at the same time. But yeah, I mean, obviously, I know everybody. I know everybody in this part of the village for sure. My neighbors and everything down there. I mean, there's only what, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's like 8 houses in this section of the village, and then there's above the village hall. There's 3 apartments. Yeah, and I know everybody in those, of course. Yeah.
Well, it's like I think it was last year at some point when I was getting a few deliveries, and uh, the one mail carrier woman, she's really good because she knows it takes me time to get to the door if she knocks, so she waits. And she says, "Well, if you're ever out or something like that, where could I leave this?" And it was like, and she mentioned somebody else across down a little bit that also is. I said, I don't know. I don't know anybody. I know the guy next door because I take in packages for him. And just to see him, I don't know his name, but everybody seems to know me. Everybody knows me. I have no idea who they are. you know.
Well, you're the village recluse, aren't you? Probably the mystery to the local village kids.
Well, and they probably saw all these boxes of books coming in and everything, and I think that thing, and there's still piles. So when you open the door, it's like, well, I've been redoing stuff, so I got more piles in the hallway here now that I'm sorting, and I haven't done that for several days now, so it's just been stalled. And the bookshelves here, I've got to redo. That's the thing. I got to redo these, pull these off, and put other stuff. So I'm starting to organize a little bit. and then also too at the same time to try to get rid of, or at least make piles of stuff that I don't, not that I don't want, but I just, I need to make space. As simple as
Yeah,
that. So,
yeah. All right. Well, I think we'll end the live there. Thanks very much for joining me, Shrine. I know it was busy early, sorry. So I won't force you to join me next week, but I'll probably do it again in terms of doing the live
well,
on.
it could be interesting to do this all the
Yeah,
time, because I get
I'm
time
happy
to
to. I'm happy to.
it just getting it on Friday
Yeah,
and doing it on Sunday. I'll have to prioritize on the Saturday to read a little more, and maybe
yeah,
Friday night or something,
yeah,
because
yeah,
normally I wouldn't have read this much. That's why I did suggest it, but I was thinking maybe Tuesday or Wednesday, so that
yeah.
way
I
we
just
can.
thought when I thought of it as well, because we independently came up with it. I was, my inspiration came from like the Sunday papers they do on,
Yeah.
on Sky News or whatever. So I was like, oh yeah, can do it on a Sunday over breakfast. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm happy to do it. I don't know how interesting Jenny or Christina found it, who seem to be our viewers throughout most of it. But it was interesting at least to talk about it with you. So we'll definitely do it next week if you're up for it. So
Yeah,
yeah,
like I say, I just have to, just prioritize to
yeah.
read it. And it's good because then it gets it out of the way as well.
Yeah, yeah. Christina hopes that your
Thank you.
appointment goes well tomorrow, and
Thank you.
we've got Christina's affirmation for it as well, so she enjoyed it.
Oh, okay.
Excellent. So, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much, Sean, again for joining me. And actually, it's so addictive doing these lives. I'm on such a roll. I feel almost a sense of loss ending this one. I feel like I have to jump on later and do something as well. It's kind of an
Well, I know
outlet. So,
it's like, even though like this will be 4 that I've done
yeah,
this weekend too, and I did 4 last weekend, and it's like,
yeah,
yeah, it's like I find it difficult to do actual videos anymore. You've been doing
yeah,
a bunch, but I find it
yeah.
very difficult. Like I've got to continue with my the paperbacks that I was doing, because I'm now up into the 70s, and I got piles upstairs there ready to do, and I just haven't. I just got to get doing it. And it's just, but it's like maybe I should just do them as a live. And
Well,
that's it.
I do. I have to say, I prefer it. I really do. I prefer it to making normal videos, especially when you have somebody else on, to have the kind of banter and back and forth with, and then like when we did. I mean, I particularly enjoyed the tea time one we did on. I think it was Wednesday or Tuesday. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Thursday maybe. I don't know. But I really enjoyed it because no, it must have been Thursday. I think. I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah,
was it
Thursday.
that late? Was it? Okay.
Yeah, it was. But I really enjoyed that because we just talked a lot of stuff. It wasn't just all book related. And also yesterday with Jim was great too
Yeah.
because we had a half hour talking about beer and whatever else, and people still wanted to watch. It didn't seem to matter what we really talked about, but I think it's the unpredictability of it that I enjoy. The fact that it does feel like a natural kind of conversation, and obviously when you're doing your own videos, you're just talking to yourself and you have to remember to smile or
Yeah. Well, the thing is, and especially if you don't have that many people watching, or they're just listening to you, you got to come up with something rather than reacting to the comments. If there's no comments, then you can't.
That's the thing, there is some onus on the viewer to make the live more interesting, especially when you're flying solo.
Well, it's
Yeah,
like
that's
yesterday
true.
with Amy. We had quite a few people watching that I did with Amy, but it's like everybody was just, the comments were hello, 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 and there was nothing else. There was no questions. There was nothing, and it was like, but people were still watching and listening, and they said they enjoyed it. But it's like, there's no interaction with the people there on that occasion. And if I was doing that by myself, that would have been difficult. It would have been
Yeah,
difficult.
it can almost feel like shouting into the wilderness, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, I mean, the first Saturday I did, when was it, last week, and I did it on my own in the morning. It was tough. I mean, I managed to talk through for an hour. I think again it was only Christina maybe who was there for the bulk of it. But yeah, I did. But my friends think I can talk about myself for days and days and days. So I probably probably did get away with it, but it's
But
much,
like
much.
Jenny too, she must get up early to be, this is a Sunday. Oh, but she does work on Sunday most of the time, so that's maybe why. Maybe
Yeah,
this is pre-work, going to work, but it
yeah.
just seems like it's early to get up to watch us.
Well, it's
Or
like Deb's last Sunday, she was like, I'm an early riser, I'm up, and she was like, definitely do it again. And there's been no sign of her this morning. So, and I was
she,
hoping she would pop in because I was gonna
she can't
call
get
her.
the makeup off.
Well, that's it. I was gonna call her Ragnar Reed stuff because of the Viking thing. But the worst thing was when it popped up in my feed. Shouldn't say maybe I should save it for afterwards. But I didn't realize what it was at first. And I thought, oh my God, she's going to be cancelled. What is she doing? And then, of course, I realized then that, it was Sagalong and I saw how it was made up. But when it just glitched on my phone as I walked up, I was like, what the hell? Oh, dear. So, right, we'll finish up. Just, where are we? Next time we will come armed with trivia questions. Well, yeah, you can always ask us anything. Jenny, I always enjoy listening to you guys. Sometimes I'm at work and I can't always chat in the comments. Well, thank you. We appreciate that anyway. I set an alarm today as I have no work today. A day of reading. Yes, I think I shall do a spot of reading. I'd like to get My Family and Other Animals finished so I can concentrate on the Sasquatches and Bigfoots.
But you see, that's a Sunday read. Is
Yeah.
that not the Sasquatch one, but the other one? It's like, to me, it's like I'm trying to get into my cabinet of Woodhouse.
Yeah.
Because I want to spend Sundays reading a Woodhouse.
Yeah.
Every Sunday I just want to try and see how long I'll go at one, because they're easy to do in the whole day. As long as I don't do this, too many videos or something like that. But I could always, like, the idea would be a start Saturday night, and then by Sunday night I should be finished one at least. And I just thought that's a perfect Sunday read. The perfect Sunday read is a Woodhouse.
Yeah, super. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you also, Sean, for joining me. And I'm sure we'll see you all again soon. Do take care, everybody. Bye-bye.